Howdy, ho ho, my good humans. How are you doing? This is Unnecessary Rambling. I'm Brandon Sylvia, joined by Jeffrey Martin in the building. How are you, my brother?
Keep it smoothing. I don't know.
Keeping it smoothing, man.
I don't know. I did it once and now I feel like I have to do it every time. Anyway, what's up, man? How's it going? It's good to be here. Thanks for having me on your delightful channel and talk some video games, as you like to say. I'm excited to be here, dude.
Absolutely, dude. I'm pumped. We have a big discussion today. We're going to be going through the games of April, May, and June, doing a quarterly overview here
That
on the
sounds so
channel.
businessy. We have our quarterly financial summary we must go over immediately.
Absolutely, man. This is all we're all going to be discussing deep into the finances here. So make sure you have your calculators out and are ready to do some math. Now we're going to look over the big games and the some of the not so big games that we're still really excited for coming in the next 3 months. And the plan is on the channel to have four of these a year for kind of look ahead videos each year, doing each quarter. And so, we were doing the monthly look ahead, and we still might pivot, go back to that kind of, where we'll see where the wind takes us
Mhm.
and whatever you guys like. But today we're going to do a good deep dive here into not all, but all of the games we're excited about coming in the next 3 months. So, yeah, Jeffrey, thank you for being here, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I'm pumped. It's funny when looking ahead, when we kind of like do our research a little bit for the months ahead for these types of things. I'll be honest, there's not a ton personally. I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for these next few months. That always changes throughout the year. For me personally, it's oftentimes like the shadow drops or like the smaller indie games that maybe aren't on these lists of like upcoming games that come out that like I just look at the Xbox store, the PlayStation store one night and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was coming out. And those little surprises. So, we'll talk about the ones we know about, but just know there's always going to be some surprises that we don't cover. But so let us know in the comments, the ones that pique your interest that we haven't spoken about.
Absolutely, man. I'm gonna go ahead and screen record this because we're pulling from GameInformer.com. They got their, if you just type in Game Informer 2024, they have a really well organized list of the games coming out for the rest of 2024. So this is what we're pulling from here. And I'll have it included, as you can see, hopefully down below us. You'll see the list right there.
Does Game
Um,
Informer still do the magazines? Do
they
you know?
actually
Or
Yeah, they just they had a weird thing with GameStop where and you know what? I'm glad you reminded me of that because on the website here it says celebrate the past, present, and future of gaming. Like what we do, support Game Informer for just $2 per issue. So you pay like
hmm,
$19 and get a full year of Game Informer magazines shipped straight to you. So they're cutting out the middleman. GameStop, having some issues. They're cutting out the middleman, going
yeah,
straight to consumer.
tangent. I know. I was just wondering because I just remember back in the day of GameStop and getting my magazines, and now it's just like the highlight of. It's not the same as looking online at information as it is that tangible. I know I'm going to sound like that old. Get off my lawn! I'm an old man now. But like reading the old magazines. So I'm just curious if they still did it. So that helps
I'm the
me out.
same way. Yeah, I got them up until like their last run with GameStop. I have my subscription through GameStop. I've always enjoyed their magazines. Um,
Yeah, buddy.
all right, so kicking off April, and we'll just go through these as they come. I guess I'll bounce off one, and then you can go vice versa. And yeah,
Cool.
I actually go all the way down here to April 16th for the
Mhm.
first game that I'm really excited for in April, and that is Harold Halibut. Have you
Mm.
seen this thing? It looks crazy, dude. The stop
So it's the
motion.
stop. Yeah.
Yeah. You excited about that one?
It was funny. It was on my list of like the few I picked out based on the stop motion. But then I kind of watched the trailer and although the stop motion is cool, I, I don't know, something about like the whole like sci-fi vibe. I don't know. It didn't quite click with me. Although the stop motion looks cool. So what are your thoughts on it, man? It sounds like this is one you're really pumped for.
Yeah, I this has like climbed up my most anticipated list, really,
Wow.
really close to the top. I've just never seen an art style like this. And then whenever I read more about it, talking about, decision making, branching choices, and then it's supposed to be an epic. Like they're talking about this thing might be 15 plus hours long of just kind of a walking sim. That's the one thing that makes me a little bit skeptical, where it's like I don't know if I can just walk around for that long, but I hope that they, have those choices hitting hard, and they do enough to keep your interest. But that there was a trailer that I saw recently that just showed off the scale of this game and the different environmental variety on offer, and there was some really impressive shit shown in this most recent trailer. So it's climbed up my ranks quite a bit. Um, yeah, man, I really like the idea of they were wanting to create this as like a point and click game initially, and then they saw Dear Esther come out, and they were like, dude, we can make this so much larger and grander, and then so I'm just because it's been in development for like over a decade. So
Which isn't surprising because you have to imagine that stop motion, like how meticulous. Like I can't imagine, like even for a movie, but if you think of a 15-hour possibly game, the meticulous nature of continuity of every little movement, like that's just got to be insane to try to like keep up with that. So hopefully it does well. It seems like it's getting a lot of coverage on some of the bigger platforms and things. Like I know the Future Game Show, I believe they covered it, which is great. So like it's good to see that a game like this that clearly is a huge labor of love is getting some attention. Obviously, this is the biggest platform here, so we're covering it, but um
absolutely. No, yeah, you're right. That the Future Game Show, that's the last trailer that I saw that really blew me away and like climb because April 16th, that shocked me as well because this thing, like I said, it's been in development for a decade. And just out of nowhere, they drop a release date for next month. I'm like, okay, I'm there, man. I'm absolutely there.
I'll definitely be trying it. I mean, I'll be excited to hear your overall thoughts because I think you're more pumped about it. But based on the fact of just the artistic value alone, that it is unique. Again, from the indie space really truly does bring some of the coolest ideas that you just don't see as often, at least from AAA at times. So yeah, man, Harold Howell, but that's a good shout out for sure, dude.
Absolutely. What's piquing your interest on this April list? Um, off the bat.
So I really only put down three, but that's just because I don't know. Again, there wasn't a ton that like immediately jumped out, but the first one is one that I really haven't heard anybody talk about. It's called Botany Manor. So this, okay, so I should say up front, this is basically, it looks like if you guys know the game The Witness, that like first person colorful puzzle game. I actually don't really like puzzle games. I'm so bad at them. I like the idea of jumping into a puzzle game, but I'm so dumb that I can't figure out ever where to go in games. I always have them on like the easiest settings. But Botany Manor comes out on April 9th for looks like Xbox console, Switch, and PC. But it's like this colorful exploration puzzle game, and I don't really know what it reminds me of apart from like The Witness or maybe something like the Talos Principle. But just the whole vibe of it of exploring like this manor and like the lush, bucolic scenes and solving puzzles within this area in first person. I don't know much else about it, but it just looks really striking. And I'm one of those really, I guess, apparently shallow people with games that if the screenshot or the trailer looks flashy and exciting, I kind of buy into it. So that's probably a problem, but whatever.
I'm the same way. No, I'm the same dude. That's such an important because like what do we have to go off of other than that? If you put out a trailer where you have something that looks different, a striking art style, a vibrant, color palette that you're pulling from, like that those are the things that catch people's eye. I'm 100% in alignment with you. I haven't heard of this game though, so I'll have to put that on my radar. Botany Manor, that's April 9th.
Are
Um
you are you a puzzle? Are you typically someone that likes pure puzzle games? As I said, I'm not because I'm just so bad at them. Do you like pure? I can't think of anything else besides like I don't know. I guess maybe Portal is kind of a pure puzzle game. The Witness again, Talos Principle. Do you like those experiences?
I do from time to time. I really appreciate something else driving it, like a puzzle platformer, like a Limbo, like a Viewfinder from last year. I really
Mm,
enjoyed that. So I can get into them if there's like enough of a bend to it where it's like, okay, there's some fun platforming as well as the puzzle solving, and like Portal with that, the main mechanic there. There are, it's not typically my genre either, though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hear you, man. All right. Well, what's another one that's piquing your interest for April, man? I like hearing how our tastes kind of shift and change as we do these types of videos.
So I don't have really anything to say about this one. Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, April 23rd. From some of the original creators of Suikoden, Konami Classic, PlayStation 1 title. I know that the other game, and I'm gonna blank on it. It came to Game Pass last
Mhm.
year, the year before. You know, the other Ayuden Chronicle kind of more action-based game. Do you
I
know the
do. I
name of
remember.
that?
I don't remember the name, but I remember playing it. I remember actually I wrote an article on it, I believe. So I feel like I should remember it, but I don't. So it was on Game Pass, though. You're right. That's the least helpful. What
Yeah,
was it
yeah.
called?
It's Ayuden Chronicle something, I believe.
All
But
right.
100 Heroes is really the big one. 100 Heroes is really what people were looking forward to, kind of, spiritual successor to Suikoden in a lot of ways is what I think people are hoping for with this one coming to Game Pass day one as well. And yeah, all the platforms you'll see on the screen here, PS5, Series XS, coming to Xbox One as well, and PC, April 23rd. Any interest in this one?
No, not necessarily. The only thing that does kind of is the Suikoden games because although I don't play them now, I do remember having a PS2 back in the day. I don't know which one was came out on the PS2. Was it Suikoden 2 or Suikoden 3? But I remember having a buddy that I played that with, even though the strategy parts were so beyond me at that time, probably even now. Did you ever play the Suikoden games though? Is that not your no? Okay.
Dude, if there's one genre that is not my genre, that is a turn-based, especially classic RPG, turn-based RPG. And here's the thing, I can get into a turn-based game if I know there's an end in sight.
Okay.
Whenever I think of 100 plus hours of playing a turn-based game, I'm like, I can't. I can't even get my brain to go to that place. But with that being said, this game looks absolutely excellent for the people that are fans of that genre.
Yeah. Awesome, man. The next one I'll hop into. This has been probably hyped to the moon and back on a lot of different channels and outlets. It's the Souls-like crab game. Crab core, we'll call it. No, another crab's treasure. So I don't know, man. This just looks so bonkers, right? Like I feel like this has been in a lot of Nintendo Directs or their indie partner ones or whatever. I think there was like it's just been in all sorts of showcases, but it's literally another crab's treasure. What they're billing it as, at least, is a Souls like where you play as this cute little cartoony crab who must like pick up pieces of the trash from under the ocean to use as his, shell or like armor. It's just such a strange anomaly because it looks like this kid-friendly cartoony game, but the marketing is leaning really heavily into it being a Souls like. And I'm not really jiving with Souls like as much in my life anymore. But what are your kind of thoughts on another crab's treasure? Because this looks wild.
Yeah, that's it. It just looks so different. And I'm with you. The second I hear Souls like I almost just unplug. I have really want nothing to do with it, but there's nothing else like this, from the setting, from like you said, using the trash as your shield. Like that's crazy, man. It looks really, at the very least, it looks different. And that's something you can't really say about a lot of Souls likes. It's a lot of I'm gonna try to do what FromSoft does, but to a wildly lesser degree. And this seems to just I'm gonna go do my own thing. And I really do I appreciate that. Um I might check it out. I might check it out. I can't commit 100% because I'm totally out on the Souls loop of things,
Yeah.
but yeah, it looks great, man. April 25th for that one.
Yep. And is it so it's for Xbox console, Switch, and PC. Is this a Game Pass game for some reason? I thought it was, but I don't have anything to that could be way wrong. I just thought I heard that at some point. If it is, which is great, because then more people can try, which is great for indies that may not get as much of an audience. Are you looking it up to see?
Yeah, because it's not coming to PlayStation
Right.
on this sheet on this Game Informer website. It doesn't say it's coming to PlayStation. Yep, Game Pass reveal trailer, June 13th. So I'll probably check it out. If it's going
Nice.
to come to Game Pass, I can jump in there without having to throw down any extra cash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Another
Yeah,
Souls
buddy.
like I'll check out.
Well, we're gonna Brandon's gonna start a channel all about crab games. So that's gonna be the next thing. Unnecessary crabbling. No, that's not a word. All right, man. What do you got next, dude?
I am going to go back a little bit. I'm going to talk about this Tales of Kanzera Zhao
Hmm.
title. The 2D, looking like a really great year for 2D Metroidvania titles. Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown. You had that Ultros game that came out earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Hollow Knight. Maybe Hollow Knight later in the year.
Sure. Why not? Whatever. You'll start a crab channel before that comes out.
But this Tales of Kinzarazao, it's EA published. So it's got some real,
Oh,
yeah, it's a part of that EA originals where Hazelight, Joseph Harris, the oh my God, It Takes
it
Two.
takes two a way out.
Yes, damn, I
Brothers, a
just
tale. Come on, man. You're the game guy. You're supposed to know every game ever. How dare you not know one?
yeah,
Unsubscribe immediately.
those they've had some good success with those EA originals, like the Immortals of Avium in that much larger budget, but I've really liked what they've been putting out, so I'm curious to see why they got behind this game. I think when you look at it immediately, you kind of can see that it's of a pretty high quality bar, and the dude came out on the Game Awards stage last year and gave that really emotional speech about how this game was like in honor of his dad who had passed away. So I'm sure there's going to be a good emotional tie to it. And the director just seems like a really cool dude. So I want to shout out this game, even though not my preferred genre, but definitely one to keep your eye on if you are a fan of the 2D Metroidvanias.
Nice, man. Good shout out. I was going to also talk about that one, but for me, like a lot of times those really heavy emotional stories, which are really beautifully told, oftentimes it's a hard time for me to process that. I just don't do a good job of it, but it really does look reminiscent of The Lost Crown in terms of the gameplay, which I love that game. I know, I'm pretty sure you liked it as well, right? Prince of
I
Persia? Or did you not?
I played like 2 hours of it, and it's just a I'm not the biggest 2D guy. I like
Gotcha.
3D spaces a lot more, but it's of the highest possible quality bar, and there's some cool quality of life features that are rarely found in those style of games. So I definitely appreciate it and wanted to support it. I got a physical copy of it, so
Nice, man.
I I uh I want to see more games out there like that for the people who really enjoy those style of games.
And this one, the Tales of Kinzarazao, does, I think we need more games that really do, as much as they may not jive with everyone, we need more of those games that really do push those human scale narratives just to kind of help build more empathy and openness between people. I think that certainly is going to help. So hopefully it does well. It seems like it's getting a lot of good coverage.
Yeah, definitely, man. What you got next?
So the last one that I have at least marked down, I'll be honest, I'm completely on the fence about this, but it's Scare or Scur Ritual.
Oh,
Um, Yeah, so this comes out April 18th for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. So Scare, I don't even know how to say it because I think it's like Scandinavian or something. Scare Ritual. So there was the original Scare, it's SKER game. It was like a first person Layers of Fear type horror game that came out a number of years ago. It was very much a single player kind of walking sim puzzle, type horror game. I didn't like it as much as I love those kind of games. The original Scare, however you say it, I didn't really enjoy it. It just didn't click with me as much as I thought. So this new one coming out in April, Scare Ritual, is kind of doing, it looks like what Outlast did with Outlast Trials, where it's multiplayer. You can play solo, but it's also meant to be like a co-op horde mode, round based thing. I did try a demo on Xbox a while ago, and it was kind of generic, remind me of like Call of Duty Zombies, but like its own little unique, like culty spin on it. Again, I'm really on the fence about it, but it did look intriguing enough that it might be worth it if it's not too expensive. What are your thoughts on? Because I know you like horror, but does this one pique your interest at all?
I played the first one and actually really enjoyed it. The That was the
Okay.
game with the mechanic where you could cover your mouth, I believe. And like
Oh
so
yeah.
yeah, you would like try to, make it to where you weren't making any noise when the enemy was coming around and stuff. And I really liked that mechanic. I saw the trailer for this, and actually you beat Game Informer here. They don't have it on their list. Uh
Mm-mm.
so April 18th you said for that one?
Yeah, I ended up pulling this one from I should have mentioned that. I pulled this one from Eurogamer just because I wasn't finding much personally that was piquing my interest from April. But yeah, April 18th, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. There is a demo. It's on Steam Early Access. I don't know. Again, it just, if you like horror co-op, horde-based, team modes, it probably will speak to a lot of people, but at least throwing it out on your radar if you like that type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I did enjoy the first game. Um maybe I'll check. I like the idea of mixing it up with the sequel. So we'll see how it lands there. I'm gonna shout out a few more real quick here in April. We have
Yeah.
This is one that is more of a comedic shout out. Teenage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade Wrath of the Mutants coming from Game Mill. those of you who had the unfortunate pleasure of experiencing the Walking Dead Destinies and the Rise of Kong game, and there was something else last year that they dropped that was just god awful. And so yeah, this is coming from Game Mill. I don't expect it to be the highest possible quality bar for a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game, but maybe, things can change every now and then. Who knows?
Listen, to give, I certainly understand the Game Mill flack again, even the name of their company, Game Mill, that sounds not ideal, but I'm going to give them some credit because they occasionally do make some little golden gems that remind me of like the PS2 era. A lot of the Nickelodeon kart racer games are from Game Mill. They're not the best
Hmm.
kart racers, but they're fun for a number of hours. So a lot of the kart racing games they do are actually pretty good. Um, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
So maybe not. That's what all I can come up with, I guess. All
It's not much, man. But,
right.
it's the thing where you don't really get any Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games. And we had the Shredder's Revenge and the Cowabunga collection last year, which were great. But it's and the one that's in development with Black Forest, the Destroy All Humans team under the Embracer umbrella, we're never gonna see that game. So it's like,
Mm.
I guess you kind of got to take what you can get. April 23rd for that one. And you said that you wrapped up your April games, right?
I mean, yeah, there's certainly other ones that are coming, but there's nothing else much that specifically I was like, I have a lot to say on. So if you got ones, go for it, man.
Okay, yeah, I'll quickly shout these out.
No, you're good. Do it.
Sandland coming April 26th. Obviously, kind of a bummer. The Akira Toriyama passed away, and it's cool that this is seemingly, because I believe reviews just came out, and it's seeming like this is a much better game than people had ever expected. And I know the last trailer that I saw, I think it's called like the Forest, something Forest trailer. Just type in
Yeah.
Sandland Forest. That
Yeah.
trailer, which I was already sold on the game, the Mad Maxy vibe, the vehicular combat, the third person mech action, just it looked so damn fun. And obviously the art style is 10 out of 10, irreplicable, and people often try to replicate it, but it's damn near impossible. Just such a specific craftsmanship. And but man, when I saw that Forest whatever trailer, I was like, yo, there's a lot of environmental diversity in this game. You're not just going to
Hmm.
be in this sand, Mad Maxi style setting. You're going to be going off to a bunch of different locations and doing other cool shit. So it's more than what initially meets the eye, and what initially met my eye, I was like already sold on. So it's like I'm just triple sold after that last trailer.
It's hopefully gonna do really well, and it does seem to be pretty promising again. I mean, huge shout out to the body of work, the just immaculate body of work from Akira Toriyama. I mean, those that art style, you're right. It's just you don't won't ever find anything quite like it. I mean, my fondness is from the Dragon Quest series, specifically Dragon Quest 8. But I hope this does well. There is a demo actually as well, which is great to see that. So there is a demo for Sandland that you can try on at least Xbox and PlayStation. So it's a great way to at least dive in and see if it's going to be for you. So yeah, let's hope it's a good one. It looks pretty sweet.
Am I crazy about that? Have you seen reviews for this? Because like I doubted myself when I said that because it's so far out.
I don't know one way or the other. I haven't personally seen a review come out, but that's not to say that it hasn't. It feels like that'd be a little too early, a month
Right.
early, right? So maybe it was because they were promoting again, because there was like a lot of the Akira Toriyama stuff. They were doing more like things around the game. Plus, there was the demo. I don't think there's reviews, but
I,
you
d-
could be right.
I don't either. That is crazy because I swear to God, like I vividly remember seeing like 9 out of 10 on an IGN review. I guess
Okay.
I'm damn dreaming about Sandland or some shit. But yeah, there is absolutely
Okay.
there is no review.
Maybe you had a dream where you reviewed it in your mind and it's amazing, which is great. So you're given like the prophecy of the review,
That's
the
really
prophesized reviewer. That can be your next channel, the prophesized reviewer. Sorry, I'm giving you too many channels.
review profit. No, that is I've never had that in my life where I could like actually see a review and it's hey, okay, dreaming about Sandland reviews.
I'm
Hopefully
trying
it
to
hits a 9.
Was there any other? I'm trying to think if there was any other games that like sound similar to that you might have thought that, but I can't think of anything. You're
I,
just going
I
crazy, man. That's cool.
I'm losing it. I think I'm losing it.
Well, welcome to
Um,
the club. All right, what's next, man? What else? There's one on here that I'm wondering if you're going to talk about because it seems like the perfect game for you, but I'm just curious if you're going to get to that.
Stellar Blade.
Yeah, that seems like one. I guess it seems like a character action game, so it seems like one you'd be excited for. I didn't know if it was though.
Yeah, for sure. I did see the previews come out, and I saw Souls inspired in every single preview that I
Oh
read,
no,
and
is
I
it?
was
Is it really? Oh
I
no.
they have difficulty settings and stuff, which is great, but like I difficulty has nothing to do with why I don't like Souls games at all.
Yeah.
Because I just played that Rise of the Ronin game, and it has an easy setting. Breeze through it, no problem on easy, and I still hate the combat. Like hate the combat. I hate the combat of those games. But when looking at Stellar Blade, you don't see Souls anything in it. It's fast,
No.
it's going, it's moving, it's flashy, it's very, dodge based with seemingly no stamina meter in plays.
Hmm.
So it's like I worry that we're diluting that word where it's like s- to me souls like means something specific. And to me it means like stay far the hell away from this thing, and it's like I don't want to stay away from games that I'm actually really excited about because of that term that's just it seems like it's being thrown around far too frequently. But
Mhm.
yeah, we'll see. I'll dive in and check it out. It if it is more in the souls vein, I'll do the same damn thing I did with Rise of the Ronin, bump the difficulty down, play through it begrudgingly, and but yeah, April 26th, PlayStation 5 exclusive. Obviously, you got the hot chick that you're going to be playing as, which is kind of the meme at this point. But I just think from what I've saw, the combat it just looks super dope, man. It looks dope. And then I saw the trailer where she's like running and jumping to there's like this building collapsing beneath her, and she's jumping trying to save her life. So I hope the story's decent. I don't have obviously super high expectations, but I hope the story's decent on it. You don't have any interest in Stellar Blade?
I don't know. For whatever reason, it just didn't. I don't know if it's the setting or whatever. It just didn't. No part of it really just clicked when I saw the trailers and all that jazz. I'm sure it'll be cool, but especially I didn't realize any of this potential Souls like stuff. And for me, that is a turnoff word, like you. So I understand that. If it's like a straight character action, like a DMC or even like a Near Automata, which I know that's an RPG, but a game that's more just focused on the action without all these specific parries and commands, and you have to take your time with this and that, which there's a place for that. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Again, it's going on demos. I'm pretty sure they're releasing a demo for PS5 the end of this month, maybe the end of March, I should say. So that'll be a good way to try it out. But being a PS5 exclusive is great, but I'm worried that it just may not get a lot of people trying it because there's still that huge gap of people that are only still playing on PS4. So just
Yeah.
curious to see how it'll do.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. And you're seeing the sales of Final Fantasy kind of not be in the greatest spot and wondering if that has a lot to do with it as well, being PS5 exclusive for 16 and Rebirth. And yes, that's a big audience on PS4 and then obviously Xbox and all that. But let's go on to I do want to shout out Topspin 2K25. Like
Okay.
I'm not a tennis guy. I will say I like playing tennis a lot. I'm not great at it, but literally every single time I've ever played tennis, I've had an incredible time doing so. I think tennis is a really fun sport. But Topspin 2K25, this is the first 2K tennis game in like over a decade, I think. So that's a
Oh,
really,
wow.
really big deal. I will say watched a trailer on it preparing for this. I try to record all the trailers ahead of time. That way makes editing a bit less, time consuming
Mhm.
on the back end and can get it up quicker. But the character models in this trailer look god awful. So
Yeah, they don't look good.
yeah, I worry about that, which it's a tennis game, so who really cares? But I was like, oh, but and to your point, they don't want to miss out on those sales. It's coming to PS4, and they're not missing out on those last
Right.
gen markets.
I, that's cool to hear that you're into tennis. I didn't realize that. Do you like a lot of like the tennis arcade, like like I know you don't have a Switch anymore, but did you like the arcadey type of tennis games, like the Mario ones back in the day, or any of the like well, I can't think of any other ones.
I don't think
Did you
I've
like arcadey ones?
I don't think I've ever played a tennis game in any capacity other than like the GTA mini games. It's
Okay.
Yeah, I've never played a tennis game, I don't think. I might have played one like on the PS2 back in the day, like one of these top spin style games,
So
like
yeah.
briefly, but I don't have any, there's a part of me where I could see myself picking this up just for the experience to try to learn it or something. But it'll
Sure.
probably be a $70 game, so I'll wait for a sale, but I might pick it up at some point.
I totally understand you on the sports things though, because although like I don't like I'm not into sports in normal life, but I do like golf games. Like I don't play golf. I tried it as a kid and I was just so bad at it. And but I love golf games, even if they're whether they're arcadey ones or like the realistic ones. Like something about it just it's just such a relaxing experience. So maybe that's like you with some of the tennis stuff. But anyway, hopefully it does well.
Yeah, man, I hope that it's decent because I know that because tennis fans haven't really had a great tennis game in a while, but I hope it's good for
No.
them. Um,
Okay.
Last shout out I'll give here, shout out to Braid Anniversary Edition. We'll quickly shout that one out. That is April 30th, coming as you see on the screen, pretty much every platform, including mobile. But Sea of Thieves coming to PlayStation 5 April 30th as well. That's a pretty big deal. It has had tremendous sales success so far. I assume this is going to be the first, or not the first. It's actually, we've already had Pentiment and stuff, but I assume that the floodgates are going to open up like crazy after this with a lot of those first party titles because of the sales success from Sea of Thieves. And yeah, I think that that player pool is going to expand greatly because I've heard nothing but great things about I think you've even told me that you've enjoyed a little bit of it, that you've played it. Was that you that told me that?
I maybe yeah, because we talked about Skull and Bones like a while back, I think.
Maybe
So
that
I
was
brought
that.
up yeah, Sea of Thieves. Yeah, I haven't played a ton of it. I love the idea of it, but it's great for PS5 players. I mean, it's so wild to just see these games that were like always Xbox Game Pass, Xbox to like it's just such a wild thing, just like with Grounded going to Switch and PlayStation as well. It's great for like the developers because they get their eyes on more, they get more eyes on it, and it's great for the other players, but it's just such a wild time, I guess. It to me, it almost not in like an extreme way, but it almost would be like again a Mario popping off on PlayStation or something like that. Not as extreme as that, but just that mindset you have of certain games you always associate it, Halo, Xbox, for example, and then it comes to somewhere else. You're like, what is happening?
For sure. No,
So anyway,
I'm not gonna lie, Jeffrey. I don't really love it. I know that I'm in the minority on that opinion. I don't really love it. I like exclusive content. I want there to be a lot of competition out there. I do think that it kind of murkies up the water a little bit. And if at some point, Xbox is like, okay, we're gonna become a publisher, then it's like, dude, PlayStation needs competition. We've saw a very arrogant Sony in the PS3 era after the
mm-hmm,
success of the PS2. I do not want that again. I think people kind of lose the forest for the trees at some point with, being like, well, it's consumer, it's good for consumers. It's like, okay, it is right now, but regardless, that's a whole different topic. We can
mm-hmm.
talk about some May games though, because I don't actually have a ton of these. We're doing
Okay,
okay on time?
yeah, let's keep smoothing, man.
Cool. We'll rapid fire runs.
Um, yeah, so that's fine. I have four, excuse me, for May that I kind of popped out. So how many do you have?
I
Or
have
we can
three,
just kind
four,
of jump into it.
I have like seven here, so we'll just
Okay. Yeah, why
we'll
don't you
run
go ahead
through.
and start then? I got four. So why don't you go ahead and start with a couple that are piquing your interest, man? I gotta stop saying that. I keep saying the same thing. All right, go ahead.
I do. That's podcasting 101. Say the same thing over and over again and hope nobody notices.
Well, now I ruined it. I ruined the illusion.
Indica. This is probably my most anticipated game for May, I would have to say at this point. This is dropping May 8th, and this is a game where you're playing as a nun who has the devil living in her head, and she is like being controlled and manipulated, and it's also this hallucination experience where you're seeing the game flip from like a Plague Tale style walking sim-ish adventure into this you're dancing with like strobe lights going on. And me even talking about it, this is one of those games where it's like, please, please, please just go watch the trailer, listen to the audio. It's one of those ones where me sitting here and talking about it, I will never be able to do this game justice until I can actually get my hands on it. Because when I look at it and when I'm experiencing this trailer, I can barely take it in myself. And then I've thought about like going and reading previews and stuff, which I don't even know if there are previews, but I've thought about trying to seek that out. And I'm like, I don't really want to know because it's so mysterious to me. It's so weird and
Hmm.
like it's just something that I don't want to know until I'm fully like immersed. So I'm kind of like blackout on anything regarding this game. At this point, I don't want to see anything else. I just want to play it on May 8th. This has cult hit vibes written all over it to me, though.
I'm glad that you talked about this because I don't know anything about it.
Dude,
I feel like I remember hearing about it, but then the trailer, maybe the portion I saw looked so bizarre and like confusing that it maybe just didn't stick. So the fact that you're talking about it in this regard of, I mean, I guess it does sound, based on what you said, it does sound like a horror game, right? I mean, but it also sounds like there's a lot of weird, wacky, culty shenanigans going on. So I don't know.
I almost don't know if it's a horror game or a comedy game. Like that's the weird.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
it's so strange, dude. It creeps me out to my core, but then like 2 seconds later, I'm like kind of chuckling. It's so weird. I highly recommend everybody just going and checking it out for themselves. It's
Okay.
bizarre.
That's I don't even know what to say. Okay. Then yeah, I guess I'll just have to watch the trailer in full and see. It sounds intriguing, but man, that sounds like it breaks my brain a little bit hearing about it.
It's weird, dude.
All right, now why don't you pop on with another one then, since we can move on from the confusion to maybe something else for a second.
I'll quickly got a shout out here. Where is it? Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut coming to PC May 16th. I think this is probably right in time for, this releases and then quickly after we get a state of play or a showcase with the reveal of Ghost of Tsushima 2. So I think it's worth just kind of noting that that May 16th date seems I don't. Uh, I'm not trying to fucking. I'm not an insider. I don't have any inside information about the goings on of PlayStation, obviously, with my with my little channel here. But I would say that that's something worth paying attention to. Anybody who's looking forward to seeing the sequel, that May 16th date seems suspect to me. I think we'll probably get a state of play after that. Um,
Hmm,
yeah.
interesting. So you think
Yes.
so there's possibilities that could coincide with something more exciting from Sucker Punch then?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so. I think so. It's definitely time to see Ghost of Tsushima 2. It's been, it came out in 2020. You want me to rapid fire run through another one, or you want to go?
I'll hop in with one. That's fine. So the first one that I want to shout out is, hang on, where did I pull that up? So the first one is V Rising.
Oh
So
yeah.
V Rising, I want to give a caveat to this because I don't play on PC. So V Rising is this like really cool looking vampire action adventure survival RPG kind of base builder where you build up your castle. I don't know a ton about it. I know I'm pretty sure it was an early access on Steam and PC. Again, I don't play on PC. I'm only console. But V Rising is coming the full 1.0 launch, I believe, May 8th. But the good news is for us console players, it's coming to PlayStation 5 later in 2024. There's not a definitive date that I'm aware of. But if you just mentioned a game with vampires, I am freaking sold. Whether it's Vampire, whether it's Legacy of Kain, I have Dark Watch back here from the PS2. Like you just name anything with vampires, and I am sold on that game. Like Castlevania, the Castlevania games, obviously. So this one coming to PS5 for me is probably, even though I don't know a ton about it, is my most hyped game right now of the year, just because I love that gothic, spooky vibe of vampire stuff. Plus, if it has good action, kind of like Diablo style action with some RPG stuff and making your own castle, it just looks freaking cool. So, PC May 8th. I think it's in early access right now if you do play PC, but eventually on PS5. Do you know much about this one? Because it seems like one you could like, but I'm not sure if it is.
I saw the trailer. It's Jeffrey, I got to be honest, man. When I see games like this, I because I know a lot of them are so time demanding. And
Mm,
it's just that thing to me where it's like if you're talking 100 plus hours, 50, 60, 70, if you're in that vein, I'm kind of at the point in my life where I really don't want many of those games unless you're a Red Dead Rockstar like, crazy AAA. I'll pour I I try to spend those 50, 100 hours as wisely as possible, but no doubt that it looks really, really good. I saw it at the PlayStation State of Play last year, I
I think so.
believe. Yeah, and it looks damn solid. So I'll keep my eye on it if it's not too taxing on the time.
That is fair. All right. Do you want to go on to another one? I got three more otherwise, but what do you got next?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and shout out. I think we might share this one. I'm not 100% certain. Hellblade 2, May 21st. Are you a big Hellblade guy? That feels like it's right up your alley with your love for Plague Tale, but it's weird because I didn't really love Hellblade 1 and I absolutely adore Plague Tale. So I don't really know.
I'm like you. Yeah, I'll let you talk more about it. I played the first one, Senua's Saga, right?
Yeah.
And but I didn't finish it. I played maybe 2 or 3 hours, but although the whole like psychosis and mental like challenges of it and like what Senua had gone through was really cool, it just I don't know. I never finished it. So that didn't click with me enough. But I do love Plague Tale, both of them like you. So this isn't one I had on my list because I think it'll be cool, but I'm not excited for it. So I don't know. Yeah. So why don't you go on more about it if this was on your list, I guess.
Yeah, so and by the way, Senua Saga is 2 and
Okay.
sacrifices. I don't love the names there either. They're
Okay.
so damn close.
Never
Um
mind then. What do I know?
no, but you're yeah, I get them confused nonstop. I have a feeling this game's really gonna shock me because not to spoil anything, but the end of Hellblade 1, there was like a real almost fourth wall breaky moment. And I feel like Senua's
Hmm.
really gonna become something kind of different in 2. I think it's gonna be a little bit more punchy. And that was the thing about the first game that was so boring to me, where it was just like, man, those puzzles are miserably boring. Like unbelievably boring to me. And Ninja Theory are craftsmen with their combat. And the combat's good in Hellblade 1, but it's like
Mhm.
lean into that, make her a badass. Because throughout the course of the game, she definitely becomes more of a badass. And I think they're about to go a little bit. I think they're gonna flex, and obviously they're gonna flex with the technical prowess of this game. It's
Right.
the most beautiful game of the year, probably in terms of photorealism. It's probably the most like striking game of the year. Yeah, I played through it and finished it this year, the first one, so I'm excited to see where they go. Am I hyped to the moon? No, but I have pretty big expectations
Hmm.
for this. It's a first party funded by Microsoft title, so let's make that money, let's spend it in a way that benefits the player, hopefully, and improves on the first game drastically. So I have high hopes for that one. But what's your
Let me
next?
ask really quick, and you don't have to go long on it if you don't want, but I feel like a timestamp should go here specifically because if this will obviously be a spoiler. I would like you to quickly, if you're okay with it, to spoil the end of the first game because I'm not going to go back and play it. So, what is that moment you're talking about? And again, I should say if he's going to say it, just click away for a while. I just want to know what that is, what you're talking about, because I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go back and play it personally. If you
Yeah,
want to spoil it, you don't have to.
I actually I remember more so the feeling I got more than what the actual events that occurred, because she ends up like muttering something to herself and like almost acknowledges the voice inside of her, and it seemingly becomes, because it seems like she's at odds with these voices in her head, the psychosis. And it seems like in this final moment of the game, she kind of merges with the psychosis and is able to kind of control it. So
Oh.
it makes me feel like she is going to like embrace those powers and be able to like manipulate those in combat in the second game. That's where my head goes. But like I said, I don't remember the actual like the actual finale in terms of directly what was said. I just remember getting the feeling of like, oh, she's about to control these powers. They're not going to control her in the second game.
Wow, that sounds immediately like, again, spoilers for Plague Tale. That sounds immediately like Hugo and the Macula and controlling the rats, right? Like
Right.
that parallel. All I kept thinking was like, well, that sounds like in a different way, that whole thing, which is okay. That's cool. That sounds awesome.
Which, not to spoil Plague Tale, I guess we'll put Plague Tale and Hellblade
Spoiler.
spoilers up
Yeah.
here. But she's like, she survives at the end of Hellblade 1, obviously, with the sequel, but like there's no, it doesn't say, obviously there's a deterioration of her throughout the game, but it doesn't seem like the same thing with Hugo, where he's like going to have to sacrifice himself in order to
Mhm.
save humanity. It seems like she's about to embrace those inner, those inner demons and then kind of wreck shop. So I think it
Nice.
could become more of a cool ass, like fun action game, hopefully, but we'll
Cool.
see. I know it'll still be very narrative heavy.
Awesome, man. Cool. Well, the next one, I'm curious if you've heard of this one. Have you heard of this is coming May 9th for PC, PS5 and PC. Have you heard of Crow Country?
I have not.
So Crow Country, this I immediately thought of you when I heard of it or heard it and play the there is a demo on PS5 at least. It's called Crow Country. So this is a I don't know if it's on the Game Informer list. Sorry, might also been one of the Eurogamer ones I found.
Yeah, dude.
But this is a very much loving homage, old school retro horror game. So if you remember the old school Resident Evils, even some of the old school like the original Silent Hill, not so much Silent Hill 2, but this is very much a game that looks like a product of its time where you play as like this, I think it's a girl or a woman, and she goes through like this like spooky amusement park. Kind of reminds me of Silent Hill 3's opening a little bit
Oh,
with that
nice.
like yeah. So this is basically just a retro old school horror game from like a fixed, I think, perspective. But again, the power of demos. There's a demo on at least on PS5 where I think it might be on Xbox where you can just to play for like the first hour. And what I love about this game, Crow Country, is that a lot of these older styled horror games tend to, for me to be way too hard where I'm just not smart enough to figure out the puzzles. You can actually have an option to just go through like a more narrative focused mode with action without as much puzzles, or you can
Wow.
have like the true like meat and potatoes experience with the challenge. And for me, I love that. Some people are going to say that's wimpy. I don't care. That's what I like. But I'm just curious, are you looking at it right now?
No, I wrote it down though. I'm definitely gonna check it out. I worry
Yeah.
because I have my iPad running the Game Informer screen.
Okay.
I worry if I run a trailer on my computer that it'll make all the damn the Zoom shit buffer. But
Yeah. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
is this like so you're saying it's more in the vein of the old school Resident Evil Silent Hill experiences where you have the fixed cameras at the tank-based controls and stuff?
So I played the demo maybe like half a year ago, so it has been a while. But
Uh,
what I remembered was it has those old school aesthetics. I should say it has the old school aesthetics of an old like RE or Silent Hill, the original one, but it feels modern in the way it controls. There may be options for like tank controls, but it feels modern but looks old. If that makes any sense, I'm probably explaining this terribly, but it just felt like that really good cozy horror game from back in the day. But it was easily playable. Maybe that makes more sense.
dude, I love that you're shouting these out because it's yeah, you're right. It's not on the Game Informer list, and this is 100% up my alley. Um, it looks this looks very Resident Evil. You know what it kind of looks like, Jeffrey?
What?
It looks like like classic Final Fantasy character models, but with
Yeah.
Resident Evil sort of tank-based controls.
Yeah, that's a good shout out. You're right. I didn't think about it that way. That's smart.
Or I should say fixed camera. Yeah, you're right. It seems more modernized with the controls because she seems to be moving
Yeah.
yeah, more freely. Dude, this looks excellent. Yeah, I good shout
There's a
out.
demo. There's literally a demo on PS5. So go try. The demo is really good. I played through it twice, which I never do with demos. It
Wow.
just is fun and like it gives you the accessibility options if you want a more casual experience. Again, some people are going to berate that and be like, "How dare you want to I don't care, just play how you want to play." It gives you the options for how you want to play the horror experience. And for me, at least in the demo, I don't know how the full game will be, of course, but I immediately thought this would be a game for you based on I know how much you love the old RE games. So
Yes, dude. Yes.
anyway.
That will be getting purchased, Jeffrey. That is a fantastic fucking shout out, man. Um,
All right, man.
staying in the horror space, let's talk a little bit about System Shock, May 21st.
Ooh.
This is I've been needing to check this out forever. The OG that inspired many of the immersive sim games and many of the shock simulators that would come and follow it, the BioShocks and everything else. But the to me, the I've heard that System Shock 2 is like really the pinnacle. And I've heard that System Shock 1 is incredibly frustrating.
Oh
Like
no.
incredibly, incredibly frustrating. But Ken Levine. Well, actually, Ken Levine was Bioshock or System Shock 2, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that, sort of went up as he was entered into the project, which I know I'm not saying that exactly, but obviously Ken Levine, creator of Bioshock, and now working on Judas,
Yeah.
which they just dropped previews of that, which looks very similar to your Bioshocks and your System Shocks. But that's all fine with me. Give me more of the more of the shock simulators. Um, this I just need to, because Deus Ex and all of those games, Dishonored and Prey and all of those games, like eh, System Shock is kind of the godfather of the immersive sim genre. And I just want to kind of pay it respect, even if it's one of those things where I dive into it and I'm just like, yo, what the hell is going on here? I don't know what the hell I'm doing, because that happens with some of these older games, where you go back to it and then they're just like absolutely no modern accessibility options, no modern quality of life features. But hopefully with the remaster remake, I believe it was Night Dive who did this, who they've
Mm.
done excellent work in the past.
Mhm.
So I will be checking out. It's also getting a physical release. Should
Hey,
shout that out. I got to shout that out every time I can, because they're fewer and fewer
yes.
these days.
Yes, you should. You should, because you should champion that. I know how much you love that. So every time it should be championed.
Absolutely, man. But yeah,
Nice.
hopefully two gets a remake remaster by Night Dive at some point. But May 21st, System Shock 1, I shall check it out.
Nice, dude. All I hear about with System Shock is how, and I don't know if this is System Shock 2 or 1 or both, is how like the omnipresent AI, I think it's Shodan, is like I don't know if it's both games, but all I hear about like from different lists or things is how darn creepy that AI, like kind of like how Alien Isolation is always just there and present and making you like change things. All I hear about is Shodan, how creepy it her it she I don't even know, whatever it is looks,
Yeah.
this sounds terrifying. So you're right, paying it respects makes a lot of sense, because we gotta love the classics even if they don't always jive nowadays.
100%, dude. What you got next on your May anticipation?
Anticipation. I'm just gonna, I don't know anything about this, but it just looked interesting. Actually, there's two paper games, so I'll do the one that I don't know anything about first. So there's a game coming out on May 21st. It's called Paper Trail. So it's coming out on all consoles, PC, mobile, and this is for me very much a me game. It's a cozy looking little indie adventure narrative game with some maybe platforming, a charming art style, maybe a little bit of puzzles. It looks like one of those games, if it shadow dropped, I would be excited for, pick it up for a low price probably, but it's called Paper Trail. I don't know anything about it other than it just looks like this charming puzzle adventure narrative game that when I was looking at this list, that one was like, hey, that looks fun. I could see playing that. So I just felt like I would shout it out. Any knowledge of this one or no?
I don't. I'm looking it up right now. So does it have anything to do? Because there was that Paper Boy game that was supposed to come out a while back that I'm blanking on the name. This isn't that, right?
Do you mean Paperboy in like you rode down the bike and threw the newspapers like from the Atari or whatever, NES?
Yeah, it was like inspired by that.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I was just kidding. That
Yeah.
is, you're serious. Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Literally, this is like the least amount of information I have. I just put down that it was a, again, cozy looking game. I don't know much more about it, but it seemed intriguing. And the premise, the art style, all of that just looked like an artistic little fun game to play for a couple hours. Those are the games I like nowadays more.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Honestly, I am flawed at knowing more about this. So you can tell
No,
me if it's Paperboy the sequel.
no, yeah, no, it's not. But the art style for this is really interesting. It seems like you're at times taking these story pages and like piecing them together so that your character is able to traverse like new locations in the environment.
Mm-hmm.
It is That's unique, man. You're blending this environment mechanically to access new areas of the map. That's really freaking cool, dude.
This is why I love indies, man. This is like I love triple A's too. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah,
playing playing plenty of them, but like indies just bring so much unique artistic value that like you just don't see in so many other games. So I feel like it's good to shout them out, which we do a lot on these videos. So
absolutely. And that's May 21st. You want to talk about the May 23rd paper game?
yeah, so this really I don't need to say much. Everyone knows about it. But yeah, Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door, May 23rd for obviously just Nintendo Switch. I love the original Paper Mario from the N64. I had adore that game so much. I played Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door on the GameCube. I didn't finish it. I remember I put in, I think I got like almost 2/3 of the way through for whatever reason back in the day. I didn't finish it. This is obviously just the whole, the whole new version of Paper Mario: Thousand Year Door. I'm I'll buy any first party Mario Nintendo game. I bought Mario versus Donkey Kong. I play with my wife. These are the games that I play with my wife. We sit down, we play them together. We love them. We just have a good time, a happy time. We're going to be buying Super Princess Peach or whatever it's called, Princess Peach Showtime. So like, I love these games. I don't need to say much else. You don't have a Switch anymore, I know, but is this a game that if you had your Switch, would this even be for you or not? Not at all.
Nah, not for me, man. But I, and this is a total different tangent that we probably shouldn't even get on, but I, I
Let's do it.
I want the Switch too. Whenever that gets announced, like I want to want it. I don't know what that means, but that's how I feel. My heart wants to want a Switch too. And so I like, cause I want to get into these first party games and I want to like I want to want these titles and I just don't right now. But and that's the thing is even though it's not for me, like not that this matters, but when I did my little award show at the end of last year, I did the console of the year. I didn't have a Switch, but I gave console of the year to the Switch. Like
That's awesome.
I acknowledge the greatness. None Xbox place, they're not even close to the first party output of quantity and quality consistently.
Right.
Nobody's touching Nintendo. So all respect to them. It's kind of the same thing with like FromSoft. Those games aren't for me. All respect in the world. They're absolute titans of the industry.
Well, if you ever get a chance, whether it's this version or the old Paper Mario, to me, I think you would like it because of the art style, because it is one of those RPGs that doesn't demand more than 10, 15 hours or however long they are. So I think you would like it, even though I know you're not big on the whole like Mario, just like those kind of games. But I don't know. What do I know? I don't know anything. So
And I shouldn't say like I'm not interested. It's because like the art style I do think looks appealing. Even like Kirby, I played Kirby, the last Kirby game, really enjoyed it. And Luigi's Mansion 3. So they're the Nintendo first party stuff that I have checked out, I did enjoy.
nice, man. Well, that's all I have for me. So I'm here. I'm excited to hear about what other ones you want to talk about for me. So go
I
for it, man.
only have I only have one more, and that
Okay.
is Haunty. This is a kind of top-down action game. I love the pencil drawn, whatever line drawn, whatever the term is for it. This aesthetic just really stands out to me, and it seems like the world like kind of gets colored in as you go throughout the game. Like it seems to start off with this monochromatic aesthetic and then gets colored in as you traverse different locations and stuff. But yeah, the hook mechanically is that you're playing this ghost and you're able to possess different enemies and different environments to like attack the enemies with. And so you have this possession mechanic, which you don't see often at all. Chia is the game from last year that I loved that mechanic so much. I didn't love the game, but I loved that mechanic so much. Geist from
Hmm.
the GameCube era, I love those possession mechanics because it just creates like situations that you don't see ever in games,
Right.
So I'm hoping that this will kind of lean into that heavily. It's a twin stick.
Hmm.
Like the mechanical setup is twin stick, so I'm assuming one hand is controlling some sort of possession mechanic, the other hand is controlling the movement of the character. I think this could be one of those games that like really pops off when it releases. So I'm keeping my eye on Haunty May 23rd
Isn't that only
for
PC though?
that's the thing. Is it
That's why
set
I didn't talk about it because I thought it was only PC. Not no disrespect to PC gamers. I just don't play PC. So I didn't know if that was one you would talk about either based on that.
Well, that's the thing, Jeffrey, is like it says that, but then whenever I looked at the PlayStation trailer, it said May
Mhm.
23rd for PlayStation as well. So it's just I
Awesome.
listen. Yeah, these lists I understand how I can't imagine how demanding it is to put these lists together, man. This is constantly
Yeah.
updating. So yeah, no, shout out to everybody putting these lists together, but I do think that is wrong on there. I think it's coming to
Cool.
PlayStation, Xbox, and all of that. So that's my last.
Nice.
World of Goo 2 is probably worth shouting out, as well as the Return to Multiverses, May 23rd
Mm.
for World of Goo 2 and May 28th for Multiverses.
Yeah. Good. Awesome, man. That's all right. So there's May. And that's again, that's what's great is like all these games we're talking about, which is already a ton. There's going to be like probably a dozen more that we have zero idea about that either get shadow dropped or like just get an update or something. That's the so exciting part about this is I can't wait just to like see what other games come out. Right. So,
Totally. Yeah. And it's, I'm kind of excited. I know this is a weird thing to say, but I'm kind of excited for the not so packed next couple months that it's like good time to backlog, good time to watch some X-Men 97, good time to sort of, yeah, I kind of like a slower window to dive into the backlog a little bit. But diving on into June, what you got?
Ooh,
What's topping your June list?
June, baby. So yeah, I have a few. I don't have two. I know June's a little bit currently at the moment. We don't have too many, big releases. For me, I'll just start off with the big one. Again, a personal one for a lot of people out there is Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. That comes out on June 27th for, of course, the Switch. So this one is kind of not as exciting for a lot of people because it's the remake or remaster. I don't know. It's not the remake, it's a remaster of the 3DS Luigi's Mansion game, which is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. I have that game on my 3DS back there, but I didn't finish it. I love the original Luigi's Mansion on GameCube so much, as well as Luigi's Mansion 3 on Nintendo Switch. I love that game. But this for me is going to be, I'm going to be picking it up day one. I love any reason to go back into another Mario slash Luigi game. I love the whole Spooky Mansion idea. And even though Dark Moon slash Luigi's Mansion 2 wasn't as beloved as the others, I still think they're fun with the whole poltergust and sucking up ghosts and solving puzzles and exploring this creepy little like family friendly mansion. So it's a no brainer for me. It's the one I'm most excited for, apart from V Rising this year so far. Again, I know you don't have a Switch, but would this otherwise interest you, or is this not even something up your alley?
Well, like I said, I really enjoyed Luigi's Mansion 3, for the little
Okay.
bit that I played of it. So yeah, if I had a Switch, I probably would check this bad boy out.
All
Um
right, man. What do you got?
this isn't for me at all, but I do want to shout out the Destiny 2 expansion, Final Shape, coming June 4th. The only reason I want to shout this out is because this is huge for the future of Bungie. They're massively underperforming on a financial level right now, and there's
Mhm.
the fear that, if they don't meet their financial targets, that Bungie will be overtaken by Sony to kind of control all operations and making all creative decisions, and that worries some people. I would assume that definitely worries some people playing on Xbox, and because if you got Sony leading that up, I imagine Bungie's going to start making some exclusive content, which they really did purchase them for their live service expertise, but it just doesn't seem to be panning out. Studio seems to be in turmoil, and it's a bit of a worry. I just think that's a really important release, and I think if it bombs, I, I really think if this bombs, I don't know if Marathon ever releases,
That's a good point.
and that's really concerning, man. So June 4th, if you want to see more from Bungie, might want to pick
W-
that up.
we should earmark this topic. Is that the right word? We should flag this topic about the whole for another video because I really do want to dive into this with you. Is the whole like the changes of the live service because my views have shifted dramatically in the last few months. So I think we should definitely flag this. So keep in mind, maybe we'll do a future topic of this. So mark that down or something. Because I'd love to
Yeah,
chat with you specifically about this and all these changes with the live service because it's such a unique topic. So I
I'm
just wanted to
writing.
throw that in there. Not that we have to, but it could be fun
I'm writing it down right now. We'll
because my
we'll
thoughts have dramatically changed on it versus when we had last talked about these things. So it could be fun to talk about it.
yeah. We'll
But
we'll,
here,
we'll
that's a good point. Hopefully this does well for the people that want this because you're right. That could shift a whole future of how this goes.
Well, speaking of live service, I know that you were a little bit of a fan of that Friday the 13th game, weren't you? Didn't you play a little bit of that? Or was that a different title that you checked out in that sphere? Or it might have
Are you
been
talking
one.
about the one that came out last like summer, like the asymmetrical one,
Ye-
like the
the
Dead by Daylight esque one?
yes, that Friday the 13th. Yeah.
I fell off that within a week. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
did you?
It was fun trying the little gimmicks, but like I immediately fell off it because I just realized there wasn't going to be any long-term plan for this. Knowing how these previous games have gone, eventually they just stop getting support and eventually they kind of die out. Although I know Friday the 13th, oh, you're talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's why. Texas
Okay.
Chainsaw. That's why I got confused. The long short answer is I immediately fell off Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It just didn't pique my interest for more than a week. So
Yeah, I know that there's a fervor around this Killer Clowns game right now. There it seems like a community ready for this thing.
Hmm.
And like you said, it's coming from that Friday the 13th creator who people that had a cult following as well until it got shut down. People seem to love it. I have no interest in it, but like we've talked about this a million times, I don't have any interest in anything live service. As soon as I see it's anything regarding that space, I'm just like brain off, no interest whatsoever. But yeah, worth mentioning. June 4th for Killer Clowns. And
Yep.
what you got next?
I'll say there's one that I want to talk about, but I'll say it for you because I think I already know what it is that you're going to talk about. Actually, you know what? Let's just go into it, and you can tell me your thoughts because I think we're on the same page about Still Wakes the Deep.
Yeah, what are
Are
your
we, or are we
thoughts?
not? Or are you not excited for that?
I don't know your thoughts. Are you excited?
So really quickly, Still Wakes the Deep, just to give the the information up front. It's a first person horror game coming out June 18th for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC. This to me reminds me of like this weird oceanic Soma meets Layers of Fear, creepy esoteric game. It's from the Chinese room who made Dear Esther, which we talked about before. I think it looks intriguing based on the newest trailer. The original trailer, which was kind of like just setting up this whole you're on an oil rig and something weird's happening, didn't really do much because it didn't show much. This newer trailer shows a lot of horror aspects and a really crazy story. So I'm intrigued by it. That was probably more than I wanted to say because I wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
The thing that made me more interested in it was like you said, that last trailer talking about the environment kind of closing in, falling in, like the roof decaying and dropping down on the scaffold, breaking the part of the part of the environment that you're traversing and making it more difficult to get back to your safe base or whatever. Like that was the stuff that really intrigued me. I am to the point where like walking simulators have to be doing something that I've never seen before for me to really want to
Mm.
jump in. This does seem to kind of be in that realm, and it's coming to Game Pass day one, so it's like I'm gonna check
Oh,
it
okay.
out. I wouldn't say I'm hyped to the moon, but I
Mm.
like the story for one. The dude's he's like a convict, or he's at least, had a criminal history that he's running from. I don't think he escaped from jail or anything. I think he's just like he's released and he's running off to sea to get away from the law. And so there seems to be a narrative there, which is always, at least something that you can chew on with these games.
Sure.
Um, and yeah, the environment sort of, the shifting, somewhat dynamic environment makes it more appealing to me. So I'll definitely check it out. Game Pass day one, I shall be there.
There we go. All righty. Well, what do you got next, man?
I will shout out. I only have two left. I
Okay.
will shout out Blood. Hashtag Blood. This is one of the coolest looking games of the year.
Mm.
Unbelievable. Looks like a Cartoon Network game, but like it's actually coming from an animation studio.
Huh.
I jotted it down. Exit 73 Studios, and they are specifically an animation and they're an animation studio, and I assumes they collaborated or they hired some game developers to come in and
Mm.
assist with this project. And so you're playing as like this high school girl, and it's an action RPG, and you have some sort of powers, I think, but you're also going to like field hockey practice and shit. And listen, it is it's straight up all art style right now. You know what I mean? I don't look at the gameplay and I'm not like, oh my God, this looks to be the most fun thing ever. But like when I look at the art style, it's something that I really haven't seen before in the game space. A game that legit looks like 90s Cartoon Network. It's immaculate looking from the aesthetic, from the visuals.
This is what I love about doing this, man. I had heard zero. I hadn't heard nothing about this, just like you hadn't heard of Crow Country. This game, looking at it now, from the Game Informer page, like even just the little like title screen card of like the characters, it looks, yeah, it kind of reminds me of like Fairly Odd Parents or something like that with the cartoon vibe.
Yes.
So I knew nothing about this. So this looks really cool. The one I'm actually wondering too. So the publisher, it looks like, is Humble Games. So Humble Games
Yep.
usually brings their games typically day and date to Game Pass. I don't know if that's the case with this, but usually Humble is one of the ones. I used to work with them and they were one of the ones that used to do that. So anyway, it could be a Game Pass game, may not be, but
Let's check and see real quick.
I just
It,
know they generally do that. So
so have you haven't seen the trailer for it?
no, this is literally I've never heard of it before. So I'm excited to look more into this because it sounds really cool.
Can you if you pulled up a trailer, would it mess up uh your thing? I get you got to see this trailer, dude.
I can try. Hang on, let me try to pull it up. My for some reason my power on my laptop doesn't charge anymore. That just found that out this morning. So that's a fun thing to do while I'm trying to
Oh
record the thing.
no. Okay,
That's hilarious.
you're good, dude. Don't worry about it.
No,
Don't worry
no,
about it.
I got it. I got their website pulled up and it's playing stuff. So yeah, this looks. I love Humble Games. Humble always puts out good stuff. In my opinion, Humble Games is a lot like Devolver for a lot of people. They put
Yep.
out pretty quality titles. Yeah, I'm looking at the trailer right now. This looks really. It just looks like a Saturday morning cartoon come
It's
to life
ins
in like an awesome. Okay, this to me. Tell me if I'm wrong. This looks like a roguelite though, which is concerning.
I don't think it is. I think it's an
Okay, it looks
action
like it.
RPG. Let's
Okay.
see. Let's see. Blood.
That's see when we were talking about Souls like when I hear roguelite, I immediately check out. I'm so over roguelite games completely. No, you're right. It's not. It doesn't say anything about it. It just looks like that based on the way you like find your weapons and stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Good. We don't need
Yeah.
as many roguelites just as much we don't need as many souls like either.
It's really crazy. Like, I just want games.
Yeah.
There used to be an era where you just got video games, and it was like you play it, you progress, you move forward, you finish it, you go on to the next thing. It's like everything wants
Right.
to consume your life now. It's really bizarre. I hate that trend. But yeah, shout out to hashtag Blood. It is
Yeah.
releasing June 18th. And yeah, dude, what you got next? I only have one more to shout out.
I only have one more as well. I literally don't have anything to say about this. It was just I wanted to have something else to put in here, but nothing else in June currently was piquing my interest. I stopped saying that. I keep saying piquing your interest. Holy crap! Sorry everyone for saying the same garbage. Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble for Nintendo Switch June 25th. I used to play the Monkey Ball games back on the GameCube way back in the day. I liked them. I haven't really played any of the newer ones over the last few years, but I'm always down for a new little Monkey Ball game. I think they're fun. I don't think I'll actually pick it up, but it looks interesting. So I have nothing else to say about
And that
it.
one is June 25th. And then we're going to go back to June 21st. Close off the video, of course. Gotta shout out Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Mm.
June 21st, coming to pretty much all platforms. Still committing to that PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, which is
Mm.
hilarious to me, man. I don't, but you know that's the crazy thing about the first when Elden Ring released initially, it ran better on PS4 than PS5. It was so
Did it?
bizarre, so
That's
bizarre.
hilarious. I love it. That's great.
But yeah, shout out to Erdtree. I think this will be the first year in Game Awards history where a DLC wins Game of the Year. I think Shadow of the
Huh.
Erdtree will be taking that, and I think there's going to be some controversy that
That's
ensues.
that's just ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like no disrespect to like that game and like even if it's not for us or whatever, but like that come on. Like come on. Like that's just DLC can be amazing, but have a separate category then for it. Like that's not fair.
I totally. I'm in alignment, man. But they open it's the thing because they opened it up last year with Phantom Liberty. You know, the floodgates. You
Oh.
can't now. You can't deny them. And those FromSoft, them boys are fervorous. They're going to be in there voting. They're going to be so what is the where you fake the vote? Um,
I don't know words. I'm not smart enough for that. I
I
know what you're talking about, but I can't. I couldn't tell you.
they're
Although,
gonna go
no, go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, hit me.
To be fair, I was just gonna to give a little bit of fairness to like I guess Phantom Liberty or Shadow of the Erd Tree. Witcher 3 Blood and Wine was literally like so amazing in my opinion that I think that could stand alone as its own game. So maybe if Shadow of the Erd Tree is like that, I can get it, but it should still just be a separate category. Come on.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't think DLC should be nominated for these things. Shine a light on brand new experiences because it does take away. It undeniably takes away from brand new experiences. Just have a separate DLC of the year category. We have enough games that DLC big expansions drop each year that warrants a category in and of itself. And yeah, that is go ahead.
Wait, why do you? But I should have asked the first question. Why do you wait? Why? Because you seem very like adamant about this. Why do you think that is going to be the case with
Why
Shadow of the Erd Tree? Like
why it's
we're
gonna
only in freaking March, and you already think that. So I guess I want to know why.
if it doesn't matter if FromSoft puts out a Souls-like game,
It doesn't matter. Okay.
it's game of the year immediately as soon as it comes out. It's crazy, man. It's because I mean Sekiro won in 2019, which is a lighter year, and then Elden Ring in 2022, and I don't know. I mean it because see, I am in agreement with you that something like Hearts of Stone, something like Blood and Wine, and supposedly FromSoft does excellent DLC. So it's like it really doesn't bother me. And I know that they are craftsmen of the highest quality, even though the games are not for me. They make excellent experiences. And
Hmm.
does it bum me out that this will likely take a slot away from a brand new experience? Like, this could take away from a Blood, from a Plucky Squire, from a, slightly smaller game that it could have got in there because 2024 isn't a year full of heavy hitters. And it would, because you see with Control, when Control came out in 2019, it underperformed massively for a while. And then when it got nominated for Game of the Year, sales picked up greatly. And so, people say, oh, these things don't matter, this and that. They matter. They might not matter to us, but they
Hmm.
matter to these publishers and developers. That's a big stage with hundreds of millions of people viewing it. That's a fat paycheck if you're one of the
Yeah.
6 games nominated for Game of the Year. So that's
True.
why I don't really love DLC being in the mix. It should have its own category. But if there's ever going to be a DLC that gets there, that's the one.
That's fair. This is why you come to this channel, man. You're in the know of all these things. You have all of the insider knowledge, every bit of it.
I see the future, my
You need to get
friend.
a crystal ball like behind you so you can do that. Wait, one last side tangent question. I know I keep saying we don't have time, but then I'm asking a question. What's your as of the time of recording this, which is the end of March, what is your current game of the year?
Jeffrey, you're gonna do it on the
Well,
spot.
yep. Yeah, I mean,
Um,
if you don't have to answer it, man. But
no,
you're good. You're good at being on the spot. Come on, man. You're good at answering questions and things. You don't like
absolutely,
scripting, so this should be just for you, man. I'm getting high pitched
absolutely.
here.
I
What's your
got, I,
game of the year so far? It can change. It doesn't have to be. It can be whatever you want it to be, man. Do you want me to go with mine while you're thinking about it?
yeah, do that.
So I guess my current. I'm trying to think of all the things I've played, but currently my
That's
game
what
of the
I'm
year,
doing.
yeah, because I'll probably think of something afterwards. But my current game of the year that I can think of is Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden. Although the combat and things like that, people weren't as big of fans of it. I actually really like the combat and the different abilities for Red and Antea. For me, it was the story and the haunting cases. Like I went back after I beat the game just to wrap up the haunting cases because I loved the narrative there. So I think I put almost 40 hours in that game, which is very rare for me nowadays. So I guess I don't know. I just wanted a reason to talk about Banisher's Ghost of New Eden because I really adore that game and I really wish more people would talk about it because games like that I think should be acknowledged for a Games of the Year award, even if they aren't for everybody. Because that's the same with Elden Ring. That's not for everybody.
Jeffrey,
Sorry, that's all I have to say.
they need to have a damn new IP award because games like that are never going to get recognition, dude. It's such a bummer because
Mm.
it seems almost like clockwork that these new IP come out and just totally nobody plays them because they're not these big. They need more acknowledgement for sure because I really worry about the future of this industry if we're going to be relying on the same franchises that existed 30 years ago. But no,
Agreed.
okay, I don't want to get off track and not answer your question.
Nope, but it's okay because I agree. Because if we lose those double A, like if we lose the focus home games, Vampire, Plague Tale, Banishers, whatever, if we lose those, like I just don't think I want to play games anymore unless it's just indies because it's going to make me very sad. To your point, we shouldn't lose those because those are the ones that really push forward a lot of times narratives and things like that. So
Well, yeah, and it's like, dude, if there wasn't a Last of Us in 2013, you wouldn't be milking The Last of Us in 2024 82 times with only 2 releases. So like you need to create new shit to have new shit to milk in the. All right, but back to
all
your
right,
question. I'm
answer
not
the
gonna
question, man. Answer. I need to know what your game of the year so far is.
I'm not gonna slip out of this. All right. I think right now, see the thing that I hate doing right here is I haven't finished this yet.
Okay.
And I'm playing it right now. I'm about 20 hours in. I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
this could change because I haven't finished it yet. Dragon's Dogma 2, I think, is my game of the year right now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
think,
think that you'd like that game. Okay.
dude, it's
Do you love
so,
it?
oh my God, it's so sick. The combat is so fun. I will say though, this is why I'm really worried about making the statement. Not that it matters,
You've made it now.
but I got to a point where the traversal sucked so much, dude. Like the quest markers were just so vague and like I all right, here's the thing. If I if I have to pull up YouTube videos while playing a game to just to get to a location, nothing wrong with pulling up a YouTube video to learn things or this, that, and the other, and you're having fun. But just to find a location, it's the number one thing that'll make me put down a game. And I had to do that for probably 30 minutes with Dragon's Dogma 2 the last time I played it. And I was infuriated, and I just ended up putting the game down. I'm gonna go back to it, but if it wasn't for the combat, no chance I'd be going back to that game. The combat is I hate being hyperbolic. The combat, it might be my favorite melee combat ever.
Wow, really? Oh my
It,
gosh. Okay.
dude, I'm pushing over these big old gargantuan giants and they're stumbling. I'm pushing them over, jumping on their head and just stabbing them in the head like a psychopath. I got mages doing these lightning spells and they're lighting my blades with, ice and flames and lightning. And it's crazy, dude. The gameplay is so crazy. But man, that traversal, God, it sucks. So for right
Okay.
now, I'm going to say Dragon's Dogma 2 with a massive asterisk that if the quest markers and all that shit remains so vague, I'll probably end up changing that game of the year by the end of the year.
Okay. That was fun to hear that. That was really cathartic. Maybe hopefully it was cathartic for you. It was cathartic for me to hear it. I didn't think you'd like that game because of exactly what you said. Not that we have the exact same taste, obviously, but like I know you've mentioned enough in previous things we've done that you hate that getting lost and not knowing what to do next for endless times. Once I knew about that about Dragon's Dogma 2, I knew I would not play that game unless they changed that. Because for me, I despise just wandering and not figuring out where to go in any game. Like I cannot deal with that. That's not fun. It's frustrating. Again, some people adore that. That's how I found Elden Ring to be for me personally. I can't do that. So that's why I didn't think you'd like that because I knew that about it. So it sounds like you don't like that part of it, but the combat is good. So
Yeah, yeah. If
okay.
it wasn't for that, dude, I would probably have already finished the damn game if it wasn't for that. But I'm 20 hours in, and I think right now it'd be my game of the year. The results may change by the end of the year. We shall see. But
All right.
Jeffrey, that is a wrap up on our anticipation tracker. These are our May through no April through
April.
June anticipation list there. And I appreciate you for joining me, my brother. It's been a pleasure. It's been a blast.
Likewise, man. Thank you for having me. I'm always pumped when we can rumble in the ring. Is that a thing people say? Do people say rumble in the ring? Is that words?
Rumble in the
Yeah.
ring.
Let's get ready to rumble. Nah, dude. I love being here, man. Love talking about games, video games. Thanks for putting up with me saying pique your interest 400 times. I'll try to keep doing that. Keep smoothing, keep loving, I don't know, man. I got nothing. I'm losing my mind. Thanks for having me, man. It's been fun.
No doubt, dude. It's been a blast. We appreciate all of you good people for tuning in. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I hope that you found some games on this chat that you weren't aware of, or some games that you were aware of, but you wanted to hear discussed a little bit more. I hope we were able to deliver in that front. Drop a comment, drop a like, subscribe, all that good shit helps out the channel massively, and we shall see you on the other side. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks. Bye. See ya.
Alrighty.